This is hole 2 at Augusta National. Pink dogwood. And on paper, it looks like a gift. A gentle par 5, a wide fairway, a green that appears reachable. After the restraint of hole 1, this is where confidence starts to return. And that's exactly how it was designed. Bobby Jones and Alister McKenzie believed the most dangerous holes weren't the ones that scared you. They were the ones that made you relax. The fairway here slopes subtly from left to right. Miss on the wrong side, and suddenly the second shot becomes blind, uneven, and awkward. The green sits at an angle, protected not by intimidation, but by patience. Get greedy, and the contours quietly send your ball away from where you want it to finish. Over the years, players haven't made big numbers here by hitting terrible shots. They've made them by assuming this hole owes them something. Pink dogwood doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It simply waits and bites back when you stop paying attention. At Augusta, even the easy holes are listening. At first glance, hole 8 at Augusta National Golf Club looks like one of the most playable par 5s on the property. It's downhill off the tee, reachable for the longest players. No water, no forced carry. And that's exactly where the mistake begins. When Bobby Jones and Alister McKenzie designed Augusta, they believed great holes should reward restraint just as much as ambition. Yellow Jasmine is a perfect expression of that philosophy. Yes, the drive matters, but it only sets the stage. The hole is decided by the second shot. From the fairway, the hole turns sharply uphill. The green sits elevated, angled slightly, and completely exposed. There's no bunker in front to visually stop the ball. Instead, the putting surface relies on firmness, slope, and elevation to repel poorly planned approaches. Shots that come in flat don't stop. Shots chased too aggressively leak long or right. And misses that seem minor quickly turn into difficult recoveries from tightly mown collection areas. This is where the hole reveals itself. Players who force the second shot, trying to turn hole 8 into a simple 2-shot birdie, often leave themselves in the worst possible positions. A long iron or fairway wood struck without the proper angle or trajectory doesn't get caught by sand. It simply fails to hold. Historically at the Masters, the best scores on hole 8 don't come from raw power. They come from players who understand that laying back, sometimes farther than feels comfortable, creates the correct angle, spin, and height to access a green that only accepts committed, well-planned shots. Azalea sits at the heart of Amen Corner, and no hole at Augusta National has tempted players into more pivotal decisions. On the card, it looks inviting. A downhill, reachable par 5 framed by azaleas and guarded by Rays Creek, which feels almost ornamental from the fairway. That sense of opportunity is intentional. When Bobby Jones and Alister McKenzie designed Augusta National Golf Club, they believed the most effective holes weren't brutally difficult. They were seductive. Azalea embodies that belief. The tee shot encourages players to bite off as much of the left corner as possible. Do it successfully, and the second shot looks heroic. Push it just a little too far, and uneven lies, trees, and lost angles creep in quickly. Then comes the defining decision of Amen Corner. Rays Creek doesn't force you to go for the green. It dares you to. The green is shallow, angled, and just generous enough to make the attempt feel reasonable. History shows how often that temptation ends in regret. Lay up, and the hole still demands precision. The third shot must be perfectly controlled into a green that rejects anything careless. That's why Azalea has shaped so many Masters moments. Not because it demands aggression, but because it convinces players it's the right choice. Firethorn is where Augusta National turns temptation into consequence. This par 5 plays downhill off the tee and looks reachable, by design. When Augusta National Golf Club was shaped by Bobby Jones and Alister McKenzie, Firethorn was meant to reward boldness only when it's paired with precision. The drive encourages aggression, especially down the left, where the angle improves and the green feels attainable in 2. But the farther left you push, the more quickly the hole tightens, bringing trees, uneven lies, and compromised stances into play. Everything is decided on the second shot. A pond guards the entire front of the green, demanding full commitment, while a steeply sloped putting surface rejects anything that arrives without the correct height and control. Lay up cautiously, and the wedge still offers no guarantee. Press too hard, and mistakes compound quickly. At the Masters, Firethorn creates some of the biggest swings in momentum, because here, the margin between opportunity and disaster is razor thin.